It's shaped up to be quite a beautiful Sunday. Let's turn it over to Sean Quinn with a look at our weather headlines and what we're going to be looking at for our President's Day Monday.
Monday, that's right. Well, Mondays can't be always that bad, and this one's going to be a good one because we get the day off for most of us anyways. Breezy, cool overnight. President's Day is looking good. These storm systems, as another one approaches by the middle of the week, doing the same thing they've been doing the last couple of weeks, which is they sort of brush the region, and then we typically see a little bit of wind behind them, and we might actually have some wind issues, especially in Santa Barbara along the mountains and going down into Ventura County, the south coast, if you will, as we head into about Wednesday. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. A lot of widespread 60s, a few 50s right there. Lompoc, you're getting a little bit of a sea breeze, and of course you can see the wind's more or less the strongest there, and that's why it's a little cooler. The ocean is about 54 there, and therefore your air temperature staying in step at about 55 degrees. Other areas not really seeing a whole lot of wind. Out of the Pacific, we still have a very active storm track, but then I put right there the but, and that's because it's just staying a little bit too far to the north. It'd be nice to say that some of this would get into our region, but it looks like for at least the next 7 days or so, the only real chance is maybe a sprinkle or two by about Wednesday. And as I was trying to allude to earlier, as the systems do run over the top of us, cold air usually rushes in from the north, and that kicks up your wind issues. So the futurecast right here shows a lot of clearness through at least about Tuesday, 5 o'clock. We start to see off the Pacific a little bit of activity beginning to approach the region. But again, not really seeing any real threats for rain. Maybe a 10 to 20% chance of rain showers developing in San Luis Obispo County. So right about there, and then up into northern California. Of course, we'll take it because it does give the Sierras some activity, but for the most part, it looks like we'll stay dry here in central and southern California. There's your forecast for the overnight. A little cooler tonight than last night because there's no cloud cover holding in the heating. You get what we call radiational cooling. All the energy during the day goes right back into space. So a lot of 40s, even lower 40s, a few high 30s around Paso Robles, and then back into the 70s for tomorrow and high 60s. The beaches, depending on that sea breeze, might only get into about the lower to mid 60s, but it really should be a decent day across the area. As far as surf, well, we do have a groundswell out there, and especially the farther north you go and on those beaches that are west and northwest facing, you're going to see some high surf, at least through Thursday. Those storm systems out there are going to kick up a long period swell, and I noticed today there's a lot of wind energy out there, so we'll probably have the wind swell on top of it, and that basically translates into quite a bit of current out there, so the beaches could be a little dangerous in the ocean, especially during the morning hours as you have a high tide around 5 feet during those morning hours, and the beaches can get kind of swamped with a lot of energy. There's your forecast right there. Mild conditions. The winds for Santa Barbara are always a concern with that direction. So by Wednesday, we may have some advisories to post, especially along the Santa Barbara south coast and perhaps the mountains. And there's your partly cloudy forecast as we head into the second half of the work week, and then warmer conditions expected. But again, the rain chances for just about everybody look to be pretty much non-existent, especially the farther south you go. Maybe on Wednesday a sprinkle or two, so we'll go ahead and stop with beautiful Santa Ynez. If I can just get the, there it is, the button. I think I need to put another quarter in the machine. And there you go. Breezy conditions for the most part with these storm systems. Just a slight chance of maybe some extra cloudiness on Wednesday. And that warming trend, look at that, going up into the mid to upper 70s for some of our warmest areas as we head toward next weekend.
It looks great. It looks nice, except
I know.
I want those rain clouds.
The R word, yes.
I'm going to ask you every weekend.
I know. It's getting bad, and it's like looking like, this is one of our gravy months, and it's kind of going a little slow again. I thought it was kind of hopeful earlier in the month, but now it's not really doing it. So.
Okay. All right. Thanks for that, Sean. Well, hundreds of hungry people showed up for the Menudo Festival this morning, and it was all to benefit some kids in the Santa Barbara area. Details next.
Coming up next in sports, high school basketball playoffs are just 3 days away, and we'll tell you who's playing who in the quest for a championship. Sports is next.